Hey guys, my name is English Dave and I'm here to give you the Entertain Lynx spoiler-free review for Suicide Squad. Ever since the disappointing and extremely divisive Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, many have looked at David Ayer's Suicide Squad as the film that will save DC's new slate of movies, or at least put them on par with the competition. Does this achieve that? The short answer is unfortunately no, but it's slightly more complicated than that. Set after the events of Batman v Superman, high-ranking government official Amanda Waller convinces the US government that they need a contingency plan for superhumans, or as they're known in the DCEU, metas. She proposes the creation of Task Force X, comprised of the worst of the worst. These include Deadshot, the world's greatest assassin who never misses or turns down a paying job. Former psychiatrist Harley Quinn, described as crazier than the Joker and even more fearless. Australian bank robber Captain Boomerang. Enchantress, a 1,000-year-old witch. Diablo, a man who can create and control fire at will, and disfigured wrestler Killer Croc. They're all brought together against their will just in case they are needed, and of course a series of events leads to them being needed. They are each implanted with an explosive device and told if they fail, they die, but if they complete their mission, they get time taken off their sentences. If you didn't guess it already from all the marketing, the main focus, for better or worse, is on Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Margot Robbie absolutely steals the show as the character and gets completely lost in her. From the extreme crazy acts to the subtle nuances, she embodies the unstable nature of the character.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices.
Will Smith's Deadshot is fun to watch, but more often than not, you're reminded that it's Will Smith in a Deadshot costume as opposed to just watching Deadshot.
Y'all jokers must be crazy.
Too often he delivers a line or a joke that, if you close your eyes, you think you're watching Bad Boys or an action film he starred in.
Oh, yeah, you're the fire bloke, eh? Well, looky here. Fire!
My personal standout characters were Captain Boomerang and Diablo. Jai Courtney is usually an actor I couldn't care less about, no matter how much Hollywood tries to make him a leading man. However, as Boomerang, he nails it and makes me want to see what he could do if you just let him be. Jay Hernandez Diablo has a really interesting character arc that falls flat because not enough time is given to develop it, and that's one of the film's main faults. Dealing with and introducing multiple characters isn't easy, but we've seen that it isn't impossible either. Just when you think you're going to get some interesting character moments, it's ignored for the sake of action and lazy exposition. It's clear from all the marketing and on-set stories we've heard that the cast got along really well, but time is never really given to believe these characters, the worst of the worst, actually became a team. Quick music video style montages are used to introduce the characters, and before long we're supposed to believe these guys will have each other's backs. The film doesn't do a good job of balancing all of them equally, and some of them feel underdeveloped and unfocused. Some characters have believable motivations, but I wasn't fully sold with most, and I certainly wasn't sold on why it had to be the Suicide Squad to go on the mission and not any of the heroes. It really interested me that none of the marketing showed the villain, and now I know why. The villain and their motivations are so weak I still can't make full sense of it. All I know is their plan falls on the now tired cliche of a big giant beam in the sky bent on world destruction or domination.
Look at the pretty lights.
Viola Davis's Amanda Waller is actually scary. She does a great job playing the zero-tolerance, no-nonsense character, and you believe when people are fearful of her. However, she's the only one that feels like a threat to the main characters. When up against the hordes of faceless henchmen, the stakes never seem high, and neither does it feel like a suicide mission. From the outset, you instantly know who's most likely going to die, and that's because you know that with a name like Suicide Squad, someone has to. Now let's get to Batman and the Joker. I purposefully left them to last because they really don't do much for the narrative. We already knew Batman would pretty much be a cameo in this, and that's exactly what we get. I had some minor issues, but that goes into spoiler territory. Jared Leto's Joker, however, was fine, at least when we saw him. His character is pretty much only there to service Harley's story. You could take him out of the film altogether, and I didn't buy the reasons they gave as to why Harley falls for him. Don't get me wrong, I actually really liked him. He had an uneasy nature about him, and you could tell Leto had really gotten to the character.
I can't wait to show you my toys.
But like I said, he does nothing for this story, and if someone asked who's better, him or Ledger, I'd say I'd have to wait till another movie to give you the answer, and I do hope we see him again.
What?
David Ayer is one of my favorite writer-directors, but for some reason he drops the ball with this one. I almost wish the film was R-rated so he could really explore what it is to be a villain, but in this it feels like a cop-out when he tries to humanize them too much. I wanted to see outright villains, but there are moments where you feel, these guys aren't so bad. In another movie that could work, but these are supposed to be the worst of the worst. By comparison, at times Deadpool felt more villainous. Remember at the end of Deadpool when Colossus tried to talk Wade out of killing Ajax, but Deadpool shoots him anyway? That's the kind of stuff I wanted to see in a movie highlighting the villains, and you never get that level of villainy. Granted, it's not an R-rated film, but there's still a lot of room to really show they're the bad guys. You only know they're the villains because you've read the comics or the script or the character said so. Ultimately, the movie isn't anywhere near the disaster that was Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and it's certainly the DCEU's best film, but that's not saying much. It's a fun film at times if you don't think about it. However, the only reason I'd say watch it opening weekend is to be part of the conversation. People will definitely be talking about this. But in all honesty, it's one of those films you wouldn't have issues waiting till it arrives on Netflix. Thanks guys for listening. If you like this review, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe and share with your peeps. Also, for our full spoiler discussion on the film, look out for our podcast next week. My name's English Dave and this has been an Entertain Link spoiler-free review for Suicide Squad. See ya.